What's up, fellas? Welcome or welcome back to the Saving Men's Lives Network. Today's video is actually going to be a response video to a comment from one of my female subscribers. She asked what I feel is a very good question, and one that will hopefully open up a broader dialogue for you guys down in the comment section as well. And that comment goes as follows. If women should negotiate for a good partner while she's between 18 and 25, how old is the man supposed to be? 55 and above? Because most men and women are not financially secured and they are immature around that age, and they both want to be outside. So which age group is right for men to negotiate a partner? Love this question. My answer was, excellent question. All things equal, a young woman in her prime has 5 basic choices. To keep from typing till my fingers hurt, I'll tackle this very soon in an upcoming video. Stay tuned. Well, today's the day, so let's get started. First things first, we need to qualify terms in that we need to express what youth and fertility, or at least the potential for fertility, means to men on the sexual marketplace, which for the rest of the video will be referred to as the SMV. YouTube has me on a short leash these days, and they're looking for any excuse they can come up with to destroy all we built together here at the network. So, but that said, men and women have diametrically almost opposed goals here on the SMV. And what it is that men want, and we're talking about adults here, 18 or over, so I don't want anybody to get any funny ideas. Don't break the law, fellas. But I'm going to need to use a metaphor. A woman's youth and fertility, you could even go as far as to add her virginity in there if you choose, but it would most likely be appropriated to fruit. Fruit should not be eaten before it's ripe. It must be, if you want to eat it and be healthy, waited on to ripen. At its peak ripeness, it is a delicious treat. It is a necessary part of a balanced diet. It's a host of different things, vitamins, minerals, and other essential nutrients, fiber, water, so forth and so on. However, fruit that is near or at its expiration date and is beginning to rot, it is against store policy nearly everywhere around the world to sell fruit that is nearing its expiration date or at its expiration date for the exact same price as fruit that just came off the truck. It is against the company's policy and against good business practices to try and get the exact same price for a fruit or a piece of fruit that is near ready to be thrown in the trash as it would if it were brand new. And this is often what happens in the SMV. Women who wait too long, still thinking that they're 20 years their junior, thinking they can charge the same prices, and I'm using prices in quotation marks, for the same product that they had that was of much higher quality just 10, 15, 20 short years ago. This is disingenuous and a scam on their part, because it doesn't make sense to pay full price for a greatly discounted item. Now remember, you can eat rotten fruit. I'm sure there's still some vitamins and minerals left inside of it. But at the same time, eating fruit, buying it in this case, and trying to make use of it at this stage is truly going to be detrimental to you. So it's always in a woman's best interest to seek after the best quality man she can get her hands on during her 18 to 25 window. That is when she's going to be the most attractive. That's when she's going to be the most fertile. That's when childbirth in and of itself is going to be the least arduous and most probably successful. This is what men want deep in our lizard brain. Even if the guy in question doesn't want to have kids, he wants at least there to be the potential should he change his mind. And a woman over age 35 is quite literally, according to all the medical text, classified as a geriatric pregnancy and thus rife with complications and difficulties, not the least of which are potentially special education necessary birth defects. So let's get started. The 5 different kinds of men I talked about that a woman in her reproductive prime should be looking for and has the option to choose from are as follows. Number 1, the HGTV guy. This guy's a project, a fixer-upper, if you will, all tatted up, criminal record. He's got 5 kids with 4 different baby mamas, and rumor has it, his 3rd baby mama lets him come over every Thursday to tighten her up real quick, just for old time's sake. But see, the thing is, he's exciting. He's edgy. He has that swag that, he's thug-tastic. He's the dude that gives her the tingles up and down her spine and up and down her legs. But this ain't the kind of guy who's going to pick up the kids from soccer practice In fact, this is the kind of guy that'll drop off a shot, shoot the club up, and go out for cigarettes. Maybe you'll see him again at the kid's graduation. But understand this, fellas. This is the guy who's Mr. Short Term. But unfortunately, so many women, especially here in the West, are so bad at mate selection that this is the guy they'll expend all their energy on, their effort on. This is the guy they'll give their best years to and expect you, a good man, to come in with your broom and dustpan and clean up the scraps. I say no thank you, which leads me to number 2, the nice guy. For those of you guys who are new here, welcome. Hit that like button. Every time you hit that thumbs up, it gives feminists the middle finger. But also, women have a dual, aka 2-part mating strategy. The HGTV guy qualifies as the alpha fucks. This guy is the beta bucks, the guy who's supposed to come along after all of her exploits and her being ran through more times than the yellow light to come by and wife her up like he's got a prize at the end of the rainbow. This guy is most often the guy who's been trapped in her friend zone for months, perhaps even years. This is the guy who, if women wanted what they say they wanted, would be the perfect man for her. This kind of guy would never cheat on her. He would dote on her. He would break bread and he would break open his wallet every chance that he got. He'd be a great husband. He'd be an amazing, attentive, involved father for their yet unborn children. But women will often, quote, settle, unquote, for these kind of guys after they've blown through their reproductive prime. This is what happens when they're knocking against that wall and they're thinking, oh crap, I gotta get somebody. And Poindexter over there, he's been a good boy. He's been buying me things for the past 10 years, waiting for his opportunity. Okay, I'll give him some lazy starfish SCX just to placate him, and I'll let him walk me down the aisle because I know he'd gladly do it. Fellas, if I've ever told you anything you could use, I'm telling you this. Do not be this guy. If you want more from that woman than she's prepared to give you, vote with your feet and walk away, which leads us to number 3, the driven guy. Now, there's 2 different kinds of driven guys in this scenario. The first is the guy who's already at the top of his field. He's already got the admiration and respect of those in his community and those who work for him, even his competitors. This is the kind of guy who is diligent with his diet and exercise routine. He's in the gym 3, 4, 5 times a week. He doesn't play around eating garbage because he knows junk in, junk out. These are the kind of men who know, after all the hard work they've done, they deserve a beautiful young lady who is adding something to his life as opposed to being a burden. Then you have the guys who are on the grind. They haven't quite made it there yet. These are the guys that are mission-minded. They're on their task and they're making it happen. This is the guy who's one promotion, one mentor, one approved loan from the bank away from busting it wide open. This is a guy who is going to be somebody. And everybody who knows him knows that's the case. Women who see these kind of guys would be smart to hitch themselves to these guys at their prime when they have the most negotiating power. Because this is the dude who's going to be the guy that other women are going to look up to and might be able to satisfy her hypergamy, at least for a little while. Number 4, the RED pill guys. Men like yourselves who watch the Saving Men's Lives Network and other content like mine. You are the men who understand that you can love a woman or you can understand how she works. You simply cannot do both. These are the men who are fully aware of the masculine burden of performance, which simply means men are only loved or even cared about, provided that they are productive. It's a tough cross to bear, but it's one that we must. These are the kind of men who value their mental health above all else. They simply must not tolerate a woman's bad behavior, especially not from one who has made it very clear that she expects to have access to his provision, his protection, and possibly his sacred seed for procreation. You do not get to misbehave when you're with a man like this because he simply cannot tolerate that. It's out of the question. The kind of woman who's worthy of an RED-pilled man, she understands that her behavior, both with him and when he's nowhere around, reflects upon him. And she cannot allow herself to make that man look bad because it will cause a domino effect of hardship coming her way. Also, she has to be mindful of the fact that a guy who understands female nature, who is unapologetically masculine, is also aware of simple mathematics, that being every morning at 12 o'clock a.m., there is tens of millions of new 18-year-old women who are now a part of the sexual marketplace, who are now her direct competitors. And if she doesn't know how to carry herself as a lady who is dignified and is worthy of a red-pilled man, she has to be replaced, because there's far more of her than there are of him. Last but not least is the older guy, aka the silver fox. Now, this gentleman could be close to or perhaps even twice her age. He may very well be old enough to be her father. But for the sake of this example, we're going to use an older gentleman. Pick your race, pick your religion, again, whichever one you're most comfortable with. And we're going to say that he's a man of integrity. We're going to say that he's a man who has truly taken the time, and he has lived an entire life of success and prosperity. He's done what he's had to do to climb up the ladders, to open the doors, and he now has all of the tools and the toys and the trappings that come with a man who's lived a life of high success and status. You see, such a man has been around. He's seen things, he's been places. And there's a lot that he could teach this young woman, because he, in the grand scheme of the SMV, has what she's looking for: experience, maturity, a whole host of tangible assets that she can directly benefit from. And as far as social media goes, she can take pictures of and style and profile to up her profile. His transferable status, because every man to a degree has some level of transferable status. That's why women get our last name, not the other way around. Now, since all relationships are transactional to a degree, here's what she gets. She gets a guy who's been diligent over his health for the past several decades, does not look his age. He's been on top of his skincare, and he's been a titan of industry, accumulating all of the goodies that women absolutely love to see and put their hands on and be a part of. What does he get? Well, best case scenario, he gets a beautiful face sitting on top of a beautiful body, a gently used, preferably single-digit body count, disease-free womb, reminding ourselves that 0 is also a single-digit number. A woman who is teachable, who is coachable, and who is willing to be both of those things, because she understands what she's asking for this man to provide for her: his protection, his procreation, potentially, and his provision comes with correction, comes with instruction. And she needs to be open to that. She needs to understand that you can't be out here running these streets like an alley cat if you want to be in the company of and under the protection of such a man of such status. This is a good thing for both, because they both get exactly what it is that they want on the SMV. Men love beautiful young women who are strong enough and healthy enough to bear their children without birth defects. Women want, in most cases, to be or to have the option to live the life of luxury, where they have very little work to do and have a host of servants at their beck and call. So, what's the takeaway from this? Well, what is the best option of these 5 for a young woman at the height of her reproductive prime, when she's never going to be more attractive? Well, that's going to depend on her personal tastes. That's going to depend on her upbringing, her cultural expectations, the laws of her country or region. A lot of factors come into play here, but I think the best case scenario for such a young woman is to have people in her life who care about her enough to constantly remind her of her daily diminishing SMV. See, women, especially young, beautiful women, should be as smart about their SMV and how perishable it is as farmers are when it comes to bringing their goods to market. Farmers know, having been raised generation after generation, of knowing when the potatoes are ready, when the carrots are ready, when the tomatoes, the strawberries, the apples, the peaches, the pears, the plums, the peanuts, the almonds, the whatever the case may be. They know, farmers know when to get that stuff to the farmer's market. They know when to get that stuff to the grocery store at the height of its freshness, because they know, number one, they can charge the highest price for it. Now, hopefully they'll be charging a price that's reasonable, that the people are willing to pay to acquire it. But at the exact same time, they also know if they get that fruit to the grocery store, dents and bruises and worms crawling out of it, there's not going to be a great demand for what it is that they have. And I know, women aren't fruit. I got it. But my point is, people who care about women, their daughters, their nieces, their sisters, they tell them, cash in your chips at the casino window before it's too late. Because there is such a thing as the wall. There is such a thing as a change of life called menopause. And yes, I've met women in their mid to early 50s who are still very attractive for their ages. But I'm not prepared to be naive enough to think that the woman I'm looking at today at 54, even though she's been on top of her health and fitness, even though she's got a great body because she's been about it and on time with it, I'm not prepared to think that the woman I'm looking at today at 54 is as attractive or more attractive than her exact same version of her at 25. It's not reasonable. And because men and women want such drastically different things from each other when it comes to this mating dance called dating, engagement, and marriage, because we want such different things from each other, it's a fair exchange when one gets what they want. When she gets what she wants and he gets what he wants, a fair exchange is taking place. And a fair exchange is no robbery. So I'm going to wrap this up here. Hopefully I was able, to bring some clarity to your question, because it was a great question. I'm grateful for you asking it. And hopefully this will open up a dialogue down in the comment section below, because it's something that doesn't get talked about enough, in my opinion. But my final thoughts are, two people should be crystal clear on what their expectations are of the other. If one party wants to screw around and the other one wants a committed relationship with titles, that should be discussed in the early parts before too many feelings get involved. If there's already a committed relationship with titles involved, but one wants to take it up to the next level of being engaged and or married, and the other one has no desire to be anywhere near those institutions, that should also be approached and discussed. And if ways need to be parted, then so be it. But that is the point I want to make today. Men, be men. Do not accept the friend zone. Tell her off top what it is you're looking for. You can use the word physical. If you're really bold, you can use the word sexual, but let her know, I have no desire to be your platonic friend because I'm not a homosexual. Ladies, if you're looking for a wedding ring, or at least a title of girlfriend and his relationship status changed on social media, then you need to let him know that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking to be someone's wife or wifey. That's what I need from you. And then you'll find out very quickly, soon after, if that person shares your interests. And that should solve all the confusion, at least for a little while. That said, fellas, that's my time. Like the video, comment down below, share and subscribe. Never let your brother suffer in silence when the truth can set him free. Networkers, we working. Until next time.